Good afternoon. I'm Brandon D. Johnson, and this is the American Poetry Museum at the Josephine Butler Park Center. Welcome. Today is a celebratory reading for Reuben Jackson. We're going to have two sets of poetry sets, and we're going to have a break between the sets for reminiscence. During that break is when I want you to talk to your neighbor about Reuben. When did you meet him? What kind of interactions did you have with him? Talk about his poetry or his work on the radio. Talk about Reuben. William Knowles, Tamar Saidi, Hannah Saidi, Greg Holloway, Pepe Gonzalez are our musicians today. I'm going to go through who's on the set. Thank you. I'm going to go through who's on each set so that you'll know when you're up. And as I've asked the poets, read your poem, read Reuben's poem. We're going to keep the reminiscence to that middle set. And if we're able, we've got a little video, an interview with Reuben. So I'll first start with that. The first set, Melanie Henderson, Kike Aviles, Ethelbert Miller, Sasa Akil, Kenny Carroll III, Sammy Miranda, Chris Earnshaw. The second set, Caleb Wine, Laini Mataka, Kenny Carroll II, Sunil Freeman, Brandon D. Johnson, and Naomi Ajala. I've often said that, or I've heard it said, I shouldn't say I say it all the time, that I hate to see you go, but if you do, I hope I live one day longer so that I can sing your praises. I'll start this also with a statement from the family of Reuben Jackson. On behalf of our cousin, Reuben Jackson's family in Columbus, Georgia, we would like to extend our sincere appreciation and gratitude for the role each of you played in Reuben's life. Though we are deeply saddened by his passing, we are lifted up by the written expressions in the articles and posts we have read these past few days on Facebook. Reuben was truly one of a kind. Though he preferred focusing on his inner thoughts and ideas as a self-described introvert, he showed his love for people and warmed the hearts of everyone he met through his writings and his love of music. Reuben will be missed, and we celebrate with you today a life well lived, as he will not soon be forgotten. Not at all. We thank you for your presence, and we especially thank Janae Michelle for all she has done in sharing her memories and love for Reuben with us. We We know that Reuben will be remembered with love by all. First up, Melanie Henderson.
Melanie.
Sorry about that. Good afternoon.
Come on, Brandon, what you doing, brother? This Langston mama, but she ain't as tall as Langston.
All right. So I'm going to share a poem that was included in our collection, Where We Stand. It's a poem from Reuben called Promises, Promises. The next woman who calls me Rube might be asked to chip in on a bottle of anti-swoon medication. Or she might receive a poem written after I ask the evening sky for a phrase rhyming with sleepless nights, in which an aging brother's heart shrugs its shoulders and begins the terrifying journey to blossom. And I met Reuben many, many years ago back on Good Hope Road. It's now Marionberry Avenue Southeast. And I was lucky to hear him read for the first time. And obviously, if you ever met him, you know he just leaves an immediate impression on you. And he's hard to forget. So this is a poem I wrote about him. American Poetry, Anacostia. Oh, Reuben, I promise to never deconstruct you or your grandson smiling behind forearms in a watched war. Guitar dreams, far out, vulnerable, and curled in the corner. Letters wander, wonder, stamp like Thames on Vermont snow. There is a need for them, stylish dudes in heavy shoes, who miss the poetry, a testament, a humid collage to your cool. Thank you.
Just want to make it, give folks on the,
Make sure people around the corner.
I thought that you were trying to take the mic away from me.
no,
You sure you coming, brother?
Oh, yeah, I hate them.
Shorty.
okay,
Yeah, I'm not slim.
Shorty.
I figured it out now.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Kike Aviles, and this poem was born last night. Looking at a picture of a dirt road in El Salvador. I grew up a peasant boy, and looking at it today, I think it's fitting for Reuben. Pools of light, like circular cracks coming from the canopy. Sunlight getting through like a kid sneaking into the circus. The sun, the master, the tree, the guardian, the ants, the children. Pools of light, like bottled messages floating on a solid ocean. A disco light on the green hills. A music note. The firefly at daytime. Pools of light, runaway slaves from the heavens, the magic rebel light, the beauty of the dusty path. Pools of light, like misbehaving children, refusing to stop the game. grabbing the illuminated mud, rubbing the light onto their faces, light playing with children.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to read a poem called Smile that Reuben gave me for my anthology, Beyond the Frontier. And it's a poem that doesn't appear in any of Reuben's collection, so I think he was very generous. And this first stanza has that Reuben Jackson wit and humor. Smile. Our city has scrubbed the sleep from its eyes. The mayor proclaims, we are now New York with a cleaner subway. And yet the hostess at Veronica's of Paris grew eyes large as a Georgia moon as she scrambled to find someone who could cut my kinky hair. What if Jesus had been a walk-in? I inquired, as she whispered to first one, then two, then four elegantly named folks who shook their heads as if I were Joseph in need of a room. Then Tony punched in, face dark as my mood, placed a bag in his cubicle, and before guiding me to his chair by the window, offered a most ancient and knowing smile.
Yes, sir.
Black men are precious. Black men, black friends having strokes. Black men younger than me. Good men with bad hearts. Men who did not follow their fathers into factories or the post office. Black men who went off to college and pulled themselves up by degrees. Men who did not sink into despair, but lifted their families into new homes. Black men who survived the bullets, streets, and police. Black men who saw the horizon and the stars. They marched as if Garvey held out his hand, not to Ethiopia, but to our black hearts. Black hearts now failing for unknown reasons. Why? Why do we die so young? Why are we not like our grandfathers sitting on the porch rocking away the years? Why are we not the black men returning from the wars and lifting our girlfriends up into wives again? Why do we date this early death? After all the exercise and pills, after the changing diet, why is there such a cruel hunger that appears and takes our years? Black men, my friends like Reuben, resting in their open coffins, waiting for someone to sing, Precious Lord, and take their hand. Black hands closing with so much love still left to give.
Hello, everybody. I'm doing good. My name is Sasa. And when I think of Reuben, I think of music. So I'm going to read his poem for Duke Ellington. Music is your mistress, demanding constant love and international settings. As always, you stroll beside her. Again, grumpy orchestra springs into elegance at the drop of your hand. Even so, there are casualties. The years pass. You bury rabbit and sweet pea. You run your fingers across the black keys, dip the color into your hair, cancerous nodes. Rush toward a harrowing cadenza, pen kisses paper, a lover, in no particular hurry. The music reveals itself, a negligee black note at a time. And then I'm going to read another Reuben poem instead of a poem of my own, because I thought someone would have read this by now, but they haven't. So, for Trayvon. Instead of sleeping, I walk with him from the store. No Skittles, thank you. We do not talk much. Sneakers crossing the courtyard. Humid southern night, we shake hands and hug. Ancient, stoic tenderness. I nod to the moon. I'm so old school. I hang till the latch clicks like an unloaded gun.
Can y'all hear me back there? Yeah? All right. Because I do be talking like a Puerto Rican. Yeah. And a preacher's son and a teacher and Reuben's friend. Right? All right, so here's what I need for you to say. Ready? I knew Reuben Jackson. Say it again. I love Reuben Jackson. And Reuben Jackson ain't gone nowhere. See, that's the preacher's son. All right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the introduction or his note at the beginning of Fingering the Keys, which says, "This book is dedicated to all those who kept me on the field when the relative comfort of the bench and a cup or two of Gatorade seemed to be the answer. As my junior high school principal would say when implicating guilty parties over the loudspeaker, you know who you are." And then I'm going to read second grade. "Tried to get my hair to flop like Ringo's so I could impress Sheila Watkins, whose inability to ship kisses to England led her to announce that she'd settle for a reasonable facsimile, provided he could also play drums. I owned a snare and cymbal, 4 adjustable rings. Each day, I would try forcing my locks into action. The tight curls were forever sleeping. I asked my barber what he could do about it. Ain't you proud of being Negro, he asked. Sure, I answered. But what if Sheila doesn't change her mind? I know, right? And, hey, Brandon, are we asking them to talk to each other right now? No? Who's up next?
Thank you, everybody. It's really great to be here today, and I see a lot of love in this room. And I was one of Reuben's newer friends, but we'd crossed paths artistically many times before. A commendation ode to Reuben. His blessed soul arose anon, as did the open petals of sakura one dawn, and yet our eager ear strains to hear fresh offerings of Reuben's verbal gold, such wisdom, compassion, and love that may profoundly and wholly, that's W-H-O-L-L-Y, rouse the deepest sense of what's holy, capital H-O-L-Y. Recall now the joyous cadences we were gifted by the son of Mary and Pierce's. Ascended scholars knew of Anubis and Henry Dennis, my childhood nemesis, knelt before Messieurs Shaky and Blakey and Art Blakey, but cherished a Sermon on the Mount and the sonorous Baba Blunt, Sun Ra. In his inspiring verse and indomitable research, Reuben handed to us a divine metaverse, rewarding every one of his cadre chance to savor more better flavors of Clio, Erato, Terpsichore, and the other gods of New Orleans. Nota bene, how this artist loved his Hendrix mightily as the gods' astral edicts. Did they make love? We now celebrate Pierce and Mary's son here today, who has with his great life and trust embraced, endowed every single one of us. Amen. Thank you.
Well, because of lack of my technical skill, I'm going to play a poem that somebody couldn't.
See how this works. What's up, Chris? Let me know. Let me know, Chris. We bootleg this. Hey, this
wait a minute.
1980 PA tapes over here. Okay?
Okay. Okay, wait. Hold up. No, I tell you what. You gonna forgive me? I appreciate that. Well, see, I'm gonna let that play out, and no, I know what. I got another one. These are folks who couldn't come. Here we go.
My name's Andy. I was a shy kid with my head often in the clouds and elsewhere and daydreaming. It's like the Tony Bennett song that Reuben loved and that I may well have never heard if not for him. And so this is Little Man, September 1963. There's a cloud in your head you try and conceal. A cloud just like the kid up the street who lives on the porch and broods like a 7-year-old Jeremiah. The occasional domestic fistfight punctuates the weighty sentence he has become. One day he calls you over and asks about the books you always carry. He wants to know if you know what people are whispering. Are you lonely? He asks, as if he didn't know the answer. He knows you know the lyrics to his song.
Yeah.
That wasn't bad. I'm gonna try it again.
For Reuben,
It's
voicemail
Sylvana Straw.
message from Mama, number 2722. Silvana, this is Mama. She always tells me who it is in case I don't know. Silvana, this is Mama. I was wondering, why didn't you ever get married? Whatever happened to that handsome banker from Spain? That handsome guy who was a banker from San Sebastian? Why didn't you marry him? I would have married him. Beep. For Silvana, my aunt is at it again by Reuben Jackson. My aunt asks if I am staying out of trouble. And by trouble, she, who cares nothing about poetry, means romantic landmines. Before I can respond with something like, being older is a chaperone spring into action during a slow dance, she says, I'm only doing what your mom would do if she were alive, which I appreciate, then try and change the subject. It doesn't work, so I tell her I'm retired, which worries her more. Maybe, she says, maybe you should move to Georgia. I have friends of friends your age.
One more.
Hold on, we're gonna do an adjustment.
No, that's you. One of the great things. That work?
Well, the thing is that that is being muffled right there, that's why I moved it over here. And that's what I'm saying, move the mic in the middle. Right, I know that, that's what I'm saying, put it in the middle, because everybody can still see us from over here.
We're working with it. We're turning that one down just more than the other.
I already did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You want to do a test?
Test.
One more time, man. Give me some words, man. Yeah.
Well, you can see Reuben had humor and Reuben could bite.
That's the first one to go without feedback.
It's what those introverts will do sometimes, you know? One more. This is from Tony Asante Lightfoot.
One more once after Frank O'Hara for Gene. It's 6:25 in Washington, an autumn-like Monday in May, and I am washing a head of lettuce and wondering how the editors at People could have omitted you from their 50 most beautiful individuals in the world 1995 issue. For who in their right mind would not choose you over Courtney Cox or Steve Young or Halle Berry? This year's lone African Americans can be kind of attractive entry. It's clear none of their editors have seen your face in the day's first chorus of sunlight, witnessed a night of your sighs and laughter, or eaten pastrami with you in Midtown Manhattan. What passes for stardom these days is not the charisma in your touch, but competent thespians with amazingly savvy agents. The disappointment is enough to make me start my own magazine. Thanks, Reuben.
I will not reminisce about
Thank you, TK.
my discussions with Reuben at the American Poetry Museum. I'm going to read this really quickly. Please listen. This is kind of the also the business section. This is from Janae, who you'll hear from later. Hello, my name is Janae Michelle. I am Reuben Jackson's partner. You can read along with me if you want to read this card. This GoFundMe exists for one reason. That is to honor the life and legacy of the extraordinary Reuben Jackson. One wonderful way to do that is by donating money to the University of the District of Columbia Scholarship Fund for students interested in poetry and/or jazz. If the community raises over $40,000, there will be a scholarship named in his honor. This is a way to extend his generous spirit and allow him to continue to help others. The more we contribute, the more generous the scholarships can be. You can honor Reuben in lots of ways. Notice the clouds. Really check them out. Support someone else's dream. Really listen. Be kind to animals and so many other things. Wouldn't this be a lovely way to honor Reuben? Love, Janae. Now, at www.gofundme.com, search for Reuben M. Jackson. Okay? All right. Second set. Caleb Wine. Yeah. Kenny Carroll the second. Yes, you are.
There goes the neighborhood, is all.
Taylor Johnson.
Yeah.
Just happens. Brandon D. Johnson. It's a conspiracy.
That's right.
Janae Michelle. And then Naomi Ajala. First up, Caleb.
And the young boys are Caleb.
So, a few years ago, I took a poetry class in college, and our first assignment was to bring in a poem that we liked. And I brought in this poem by Reuben called Lady's Way. Band plays an intro, sad as the end of summer. She sings, a saxophone answers. It's shiny and tilted like the moon. Her voice rises like sun sometimes, dips like fortune or a mountain road. She knows love's two faces, like I know the way to market. And she knows some other stuff I feel. Guess that's why she's a star, crossing the country with a flower for her trademark and music for her flame. And this next one is a poem I wrote for Reuben. It's called DC Alcoda. The last time I saw you, you were passing on the other side of the street. The clouds were heavy, and I was sitting on a bench in a sweater not warm enough for the time of year. You didn't see me. Memory is a dangerous place to get lost. Like a bed's warmth as the cold morning air makes its voice known. In memories, nothing has to change. In memories, I still hear every inflection of your voice. In memories, a stroke means nothing more than a clock's movement. There's a cliche movie scene where a character finds themselves back in time with another chance to say goodbye. They hug their loved one as a tear begins to fall. Their loved one, confused by the sudden outburst of affection, embraces it. Asks something along the lines of, "Hey, what's gotten into you? Is everything okay?" I'm sitting on a bench under a cold gray sky. The hands on every clock are frozen. I watch you pass again, again, and again.
know I wasn't gonna get up here with Pepe behind me and not do something. My brother.
I got your back, man.
Always, brother. That's why Reuben loves you too. All right. So the first piece is gonna be one of Reuben's pieces to his many personas. This time, it's a piece for Amir. It's called Amir's Guide to Popo Encounters. Those flashing lights are not an ad. They're not a biopic for the 1960s. Quit, dust off your best English, but know that it too can be used against you. He was reaching for the proper subject-verb agreement, Your Honor. Rock your best honor guard face. Hold your heart rate's hand. In situations such as these, 2 minutes can feel like forever. A slave ship caught in rush hour traffic. Remember your ancestors. Be ice water. And even if you don't believe, pray. And so as Reuben might say, it wouldn't be a Kenny Carroll poem if he didn't start some shit. Let's go. Reuben in Palestine. We sit in the Sunday sun of the Arts Walk. It is laughter, smiles that bloom between Sammy's multi-tongued art and Brandon's MC prep. Today you tell me that you were supposed to go to Palestine, a writer's retreat to share your Carolina, D.C. aesthetics, to discover that the breeze from the Mediterranean carries the verses of Baraka, Darwish, Jordan, and Tuquan. You say supposed, like that black folks suppose, like we supposed to be equal, like that disappointment that wakes you up for several hundred years in a racist nation that takes morning walks with you for several decades. You, Reuben, of the economic use of cuss words. So it is surprising when I hear you say, it's a motherfucking shame. Shorthand for amputated babies and rubble as tomb for entire generations. Imprisoned poets and their poems tortured and ripped from the land like ancient olive trees. Call it US-funded exile if you like, refugee blues in your own land. My mother was afraid, you say. She begged me not to go. She knew that if they killed Rachel, they'd kill Reuben, her baby boy. And so, your cup filled with another regret. But that day, we imagined your overflowing journals, your nightly talks of poetics, of freedom and Shorter and Bly, with writers from the river to the sea. They would have loved you as I love you, as you loved us. So go now, Reuben. Go now to Rafah and Khan Yunis, Jabala. Go to the West Bank, unfettered. Go now as windblown ashes. Tell the living and the dead, the tortured and those resisting. Let them hear your words, Brother Jackson. Assure them that freedom will come like pages from scattered clouds. Thank you. For the brothers that still come up.
Good afternoon. I'm going to read Self-Portrait, 1988. It's a good one. I am stubborn, broke, but mean well, and am trying hard to fuse my passions with the world's conventions. But ain't no offers for a man capable of singing every solo Wayne Shorter's committed to record come my way. Peace, light, and progress to the spirit of Reuben Jackson. Thank you all for being here.
I wrote this poem for Reuben last year. Standing by a shelf for Reuben. When he looks at the edges, the covers of books and records, he remembers when and where he got them, how it felt. Everything's a testament to life lived on the fringe of some sense of sanity. All the vehicles for imbibing these treasures are obsolete. Even his eyes and ears as their function fades under each year's mud and tussle to stay alive. The damned fine few who know try not to lose the memories. Talk as if each was there for the other. Laughter supplants tears. If he can, a story gets written about each song, how a chord, a lyric, the last line of a book make more sense. The same as the warnings his mother threw at fledgling feet like seeds in soil. He wishes he could buy them all again, heed the messages, grow as if each signpost was a vitamin, make what became a recollection, a catalyst for pathfinding and strength. And I'll say that one thing that inspired that was watching Reuben have a conversation with Rusty Hassan.
Yeah, that's a good combo right there.
A lonely affair. Even the most diehard liberals have their moments, like the man wearing the end apartheid button who followed me across his bookstore, like the woman who interrupted me in the middle of a poetry reading to say she'd read tons of African American writing, well, Alice Walker. And I had it all wrong. She may still be there pontificating. I went home and watched the Redskins pigged out on beer and nachos, came to realize that unlike the mass screaming at RFK on Sunday, revolution is a lonely affair. Janae?
Hello. I'm going to have to do this now. I wasn't really planning on talking, but I want to tell you guys a story about how Reuben and I met, because it's a good one. We were in the Brookland subway, and we both got up to the escalator at the same time, and Reuben said, "You go," and I said, "You go," and "You go," and it was just awkward, just totally awkward. And I went up first, and then I got on the car, and then as the car took off, I noticed he was on the same car. I didn't think anything of it, got off the car, and he got off behind me, and I said, "Are you following me?" And he said, "Well, that depends where you're going." And I thought, And then I said to him, "Well, I'm going on a date," because I was truly going on a date. And he said, something I know is not true now, "Well, I haven't had a date since the Nixon administration." And I thought, I just thought, this guy's funny, he's funny. And then somehow we were at Fort Totten, and he was on the platform below, and I was going down the escalator. And I just saw this man, and I just saw so much good. I could just see that he was good, all the way through. And I have a trimmer, plus I was nervous too after I decided I needed to know him. And so I went down the escalator, and I just kind of said, "Here's my phone. Put your phone number in there, whatever." Or maybe I started it, because I wrote Rueben. And throughout this whole thing, when I've written his name, I have to go back and change it. And I'm thinking, somebody's reading this going, she doesn't even know his name. But the reason is because in my phone it's still Ruben. But and then the last clincher was we exchanged numbers, and I was going on this train, he was going on that train, and he looked at me and he said, "Sometimes life can be kind." And he got on his train and I got on mine. And after that, every second we could spend together, we did, up until the day he died. Anyway.
Brian Tatum, let me call your name out, man. What's up, brother?
Up next,
Yeah.
no, up next, Kenny Carroll III.
That's my baby boy.
Yeah. What happened, man? You hit your father?
He fell.
How y'all doing? Find these real fast.
Every time I used to mention Kenny, Reuben would be handing my Kleenex. That's how far back we go. Baby. Reuben's arms.
No, it's all good. I'm happy to be here.
You know you got Pepe in them behind.
I see that.
It can go down. There's a hint.
Let me make sure. Did somebody already read this? I don't know.
No.
All right, perfect. This is something Reuben posted like a while ago, like 2022 April. When my 10th grade homeroom teacher asked me, and I still don't know why, or tasked me with, and I don't know why, writing a poem for the next edition of the school newspaper, I deliberately wrote what I considered to be a truly horrific, mawkish ode. My planned rejection didn't work. I had no idea that I would fall deeply in love with the art form, nor did I envision where this romance would take me. Nonetheless, I was hooked. Granted, most of it fell into two categories: works which reeked of mimicry and just plain old nah. Still, I continued. Reading everyone from Dylan Thomas to Nikki Giovanni, I have always been in love with the sound of language, but these authors shaped works which honored sound, craft, passion, and destiny. How did they do that? Could a certain awkward teenager come reasonably close? During a recent program honoring the late poet and journalist Blythe Spirit Askia Muhammad, fellow poets Kenneth Carroll and Bianca Skimma also took part. I said that none of us makes it anywhere by ourselves. I am eternally grateful for those teachers, high school, college, peers, students who encouraged, counseled, and sometimes kicked my nerdy behind. I didn't see what they saw in me, but like I said, I was hooked. The word, as I often call it these days, has enriched my life 1,000-fold. A fairly decent poem is as close as I'll get to, say, a Billy Strayhorn ballad. And now that I'm a little less hard on myself, I appreciate this highway even more. This could go on all night, but I won't let it. Thank you for reading this. Thanks for supporting Reuben the person, not Reuben the job title. As a great vocalist said at the conclusion of an interview, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm going to try and give you more. Rest in peace to a legend, Reuben Jackson. Rest in peace to family, Reuben Jackson. Rest in peace to a friend, Reuben Jackson. Now I'll read something. If I can just find it before my phone immediately dies. It would be so much easier.
Thank you, Brandon.
Just trying to save all these trees. And I'll read this short piece in defense of mosquitoes. In defense of mosquitoes. Rainfall starts a Saturday, and there is little to do but watch plans slip into gutters, a waterlogged procession. This small mercy will make my allergies bearable tomorrow, if I can go outside tomorrow. If this downpour is only a day's endeavor and not the torrent to swallow a whole weekend, and I work some weekends but not this weekend, and I made plans that might be mistaken for pennies and a wishing well. Anything to escape the humidity of the house whose AC has been on strike since '91. The fans moan after another 24-hour shift does not free me from a veil of sweat, which I wear without choice. Of the stories I could tell, of the long-legged spider regal hanging at the top of my windowsill, of the ants daring to venture the forest of old rug, the moths dreaming of a bag of rice to lay a farmhouse of larvae in. I choose the dull pinch. I choose the speck in my eye, my only weekend visitor, my rising chest, her green fields, my falling chest, her children's dinner, my body, a country of excess, of waste, of clogged gutters for veins. My skin comes open, drop of me, then the rain, and just like that, she is gone. Thank you guys for having me.
I just told him that. Okay, before our last poet comes up, more business. You may not have come to the American Poetry Museum, but we'd like to see you. There you go. We're open Thursdays from 5 to 7, Fridays from 5 to 7, Saturdays 9 to 5, and Sundays, unless we're here, 2 to 5. It's always opened by a poet. There are some people that come to sit and write poetry. There are some people that come to read poetry, and there are others who come to the events. Sometimes somebody wants somebody to look at a poem, and there's always a poet there. Glad to give you a little critique. That's how we get people like Caleb to come through. There's also the first Friday of every month, except for the one coming up. The first Friday is the open mic, hosted by Sasa Akil. If all the trees were pens. It's a great event. Come on through. That's from 6 to 8, the first Friday of every month. You can also keep track of us and what we're doing. You can follow us on Instagram, American Poetry Museum. You can follow us on Facebook, for all of us older folks who still use Facebook, American Poetry Museum. And also our website, the American Poetry Museum. Where? I can't hear you. All right.
And where is that at? Yeah. Thank you.
The Arts Walk in Brooklyn on Monroe. Northeast. If you go north on Michigan.
They got GPS.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. You got GPS, you can find us. You know, but you could go and get to Monroe and you turn left and do all that, you know. Okay.
Or the metro station.
Or the metro station, exactly. Red Line, Brooklyn. Okay. Thank you all for being here. When we hear the last poet, and then, don't go yet, we've got a little video of Reuben. Naomi.
You still doing this too, Naomi? Thank you.
Gracias. Hi, everybody. I wanted to share this with you very briefly because it's both ironic and hilarious. The last time I saw Reuben was outside of UDC. We would run each other, besides seeing each other when we saw each other, we would run into each other at the metro. So he says, hey, what's up? What you doing out here? And I said, I'm coming back from a death conference. He said, I say, what? Yeah, a death conference. So, and we were talking about books like Japanese death poems written by Zen monks and haiku poets on the verge of death, what people wrote on the verge of death and what they were thinking about, what they were contemplating during the last few days, few weeks. And shortly after that, I ended up writing this poem, which Ms. Janae wanted me to share. For Reuben, to ward off bitterness. Let the hammer slam down on us when and where it does. If we can muster the likes of a grin and still love the rain, nothing will trap us for too long. We laugh secretly in the face of the ineffable and nod. Let cursing be the only work we leave undone. The stuff of poetry buoying us up. What did we want from life? What would we do if we had another chance? This is our inherited world that we close and open the door upon, and we are trying to make love for it. We knew from the start the birds would come to sing without us, and we love them all the more for it. Thank you.
Hope you've all enjoyed this. I hope that you've met someone new. I read something once that said that everyone you know has a different story about you. So let's hope that some of you were able to share your story about Reuben. And you'll keep listening for more stories or remembering your own. There might still be some cupcakes over there. Reuben liked cupcakes. And share some more stories. I'll just conclude by saying I'm Brandon D. Johnson, and this is the American Poetry Museum at the Josephine Butler Park Center, Sunday, March 24, 2024. Thank you.